Hey, this is Chris, but my friends call me Stones. Thanks for checking out my channel, and thanks for checking out my newest video. I did go out to yard sales and garage sales today like I normally do on Thursdays. I didn't really find anything too special. So I'm not going to lay everything out like I normally do and tell you what they're worth and what I paid for it and that type of thing. Instead, something came to mind when I bought something at a yard sale, a garage sale. It's actually these cameras that I started thinking about more, and I think it's a subject that really isn't discussed that often on YouTube. At least I haven't seen it, and I think it's something that some more YouTubers probably should do videos on. And that's, how do you accurately price an item to sell on eBay? I know sometimes they say it's just, oh, you go look up the item on eBay, you look at all the active listings, you see the prices on those listings, you go to the ones that have sold, you also see the prices on those, and you kind of determine your price based on that information. It's basically the law of supply and demand, right? You can only sell something for what people are willing to pay for it. But how do you do that in other situations where it's not that quite easy? It's not that simple. There's not that much information. You have an item that's rare. You have the only one. How do you decide how you're going to sell that item? Get the most money for your item, but you're also not turning people away because you're being ridiculous about it at the same time. And this shirt is a good example. So if you didn't see the video, go check it out. But last week I found 5 vintage WWF wrestling shirts for $5 a piece. I paid $25 total for these beautiful vintage rare wrestling shirts. I have them listed now on eBay. The lowest price one's $150 and the highest price one's worth $700. Now when I recorded that video, I did research on eBay just so I could say, oh, this one's worth $300, this one's worth $400. But when I actually sat down and listed these items almost a week later, I sat down and listed them yesterday, I was off on my prices. And when I mean off, I mean I wasn't too high, I was actually too low. Because once I looked at all the information and I considered all the information and the past sales and the active listings, I realized that there was more to it than just simply looking at those numbers and coming up with a price. And this shirt is a good example. This is what I mean. So this shirt right now, if I were to look at past listings or past sales, there's only been one that sold in whatever history eBay gives you. I can't remember now if it's 60 days or 90 days. It's one of those two, or 6 months maybe. I don't know. But there's only one that sold. And the one that sold for something under, it was a best offer. So it was something under $200. The price was originally $200, and they accepted a best offer, which means it could have been $5, it could have been $195. I don't know. I could go on Terapeak and really find out for sure, but in my opinion, it doesn't matter. When it comes to a shirt like this, what matters to me is, what is my competition now? Now, it'd be a big difference if there was 20 past sales on this shirt, which tells me this shirt shows up often on eBay. So there's always going to be constant competition, and I'm going to have to fit within the parameters of that competition if I want to sell my shirt. But because there's only one past sale, this tells me this item does not show up on eBay that often. So I look at the active listings, because the active listings, that's my competition. That's my true competition. And if you look up this shirt on eBay, there are only 4 active listings currently, and one of them being mine. Out of those 3 others that it's my competition, 2 of them are size large. One of them is listed for $250. The other one is listed for $300. I have an extra large. Those large shirts are not in competition with me because I have a bigger size. I personally wear an extra large shirt. So if I'm trying to find this shirt on eBay, I'm not interested in the size large because I'm not going to fit in it. So those two have no competition. Those large shirts have no competition to the extra large shirt. But my extra large shirt is competition for those large shirts, because someone who's looking for a large shirt can wear an extra large. Now the other one that's listed is a 2XL. It is an auction currently, and I think the opening bid is $300, or you can just skip the bidding process altogether and buy it for $500. That's a hefty price, and that's my only competition, because again, if you have to wear an XL, you can wear a 2XL, but you can't wear a large. So the 2XL is the only other option that someone has if they want this shirt in at least an XL size. So the way that I look at it is, this shirt possibly could be worth as much as $350 to $500, because that's the price that's set by my only competition. Now, will I set it that high? Probably not, but I think I could at least go up to the same price as the other ones, which are at $250 and $300. I've noticed this as well with shoes. Like, think about it with shoes. Someone who is wanting a pair of shoes can only wear a specific size. So, for example, I found a pair of shoes at the Goodwill, and it was some rare brand that I'd never heard of before. It was a skater shoe. And there were so many listings, but I only had the only pair in my size, or the size that I had, which I don't even remember what size it was, but I had the only one. So I listed it higher because I thought, well, maybe the reason why those other shoes haven't sold for their lower price is because the person who wants those shoes is more my size and not the size that's been listed. And sure enough, I listed it for a higher price, and it sold within a week for that higher price. So it's not necessarily what you see on the screen. What's the going price for this item? It's all these other elements, these other characteristics, all these other situations that you have to keep in mind. I've had that with CDs as well. If you have the only one that's in new condition, and that's where I go with these cameras. I bought these up at a yard sale today. $15 a piece is what he had it priced at. He accepted my offer for $40 for all of them. So I got a little bit of a break, not much. So I paid really $13 a piece. Now these are all brand new. These are factory sealed. They still have the seal on them, every one of them. And currently, when you look this up, there are no active listings. There are none available in brand new condition for either one of these models. If you look at the solds, which again I forget, is it 90 days or 6 months, I don't remember, but there are no solds either. And when you go on Terapeak, which gives you a 1-year history of eBay, there are none solds either. There are none that have been listed or sold on eBay in brand new condition. So the question is, what do I price these at? Now, the used condition ones, and there's even some that are like parts and not working and stuff, they range anywhere from $5 just for the camera plus shipping, or the whole bundle, but outside of, without the box, still in used condition, but everything that you're supposed to get with this for like $30. But again, that's still used condition. So my rule of thumb has always been that an item in used condition, or an item that's in new condition, is going to be worth at least twice as much as that same item in used condition if the purpose of that item isn't impacted by the condition of the item being used or new. For example, a CD is still a CD. You can still listen to it. You can still play the songs, whether that CD is in used condition or in new condition. So the purpose of that CD is not impacted by the condition of the item. Same thing with a video game. Same thing with a book. Where it gets tricky is with clothing. So clothing, you can still wear the shirt, but one that's in used condition, it's not going to last as long because eventually that shirt is going to wear out. A pair of shoes is another good example. Yeah, you can still wear those shoes. You can still walk around in them. You can still run. You can play basketball. But because it's in used condition, the purpose of that item is impacted by its condition. So things like that, I always say, those items are worth 3 times as much. Okay? Now, here's where the caveat is to that rule. If the item, like a camera, the purpose of the item is not impacted by its condition, you can still use a camera that's been previously owned by someone. It will still take pictures unless it's broken. Again, you double the value if you have it in new condition. But if you have the only one, now you're getting into triple or quadruple the value, in my opinion. And has worked for me. I have done this before in other items where I had the only one, and that meant I could name my own price, but you don't want to be unreasonable about it. You know, people are not going to pay you $500 for your $10 item because you have the only one. You still have to be reasonable about it. So these cameras, with everything that's in the box, if it was used, they're worth about $30 a piece. Because they're brand new, I would think that would double the price, which would bring them to about $60 a piece. But because I have the only one, I think that triples the value, which brings it more like $90 a piece. So that's what I'm going to try and see if I can't get about $90 a piece for these. So that's a subject I wanted to throw out there and kind of discuss. I'd like to see another YouTuber, another reseller actually sit down with like 10 items and actually go through the process of listing them and say, this is what I'm looking up, here's what I see, this is the information that I got, and I'm picking this price because of this reason. I'm thinking this way about it. Not arbitrarily, okay, I think it's going to be, you know, explain the thought process, because I think there's a little bit more there than what people realize. So there you go. What do you think? Let me know. Thanks for checking this out.